It's approximately 6 p.m. and August 12th, 2021 Farragut Board Mayor and Aldermen meeting will now come to order. All Farragut Board and Mayor and Aldermen meetings are public notice per Tennessee state law. Our meetings can be seen live on Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3, as well as on the Farragut YouTube channel and our website. The meeting will also be recorded and can be reviewed later on Town of Farragut YouTube channel, as well as Charter Channel 193, TDS Channel 3. During the regular posted agenda, all comments or questions from Farragut residents will now be in person. If you're interested in speaking, we ask that you fill out a blue card with your name and address and agenda number and turn it in to the town recorder prior to the start of the meeting. The mayor or the vice mayor shall maintain the control of the meeting to provide a professional and objective environment. So please read the posted comment protocol and understand that there will be a 5-minute limit for each speaker. At the end of tonight's business meeting, there will be some time reserved for public comment under the Citizens Forum agenda, in which the same rules apply as a regular posted agenda item. Okay, we'll now start the night with a silent prayer, which shall be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance to our country's flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'll ask the town recorder to please take attendance roll call for a quorum.
Alderman Burnett. Here. Alderman Meyer.
Here.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Here.
Alderman Povlin. Here. Mayor Williams.
Vice Mayor, yeah, here. Mayor here. Thank you. Approval of the agenda. Any agenda amendments tonight?
No, sir.
None?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion's has been seconded. All in favor of the approval, say yes.
Yes.
Okay. Let the record show that the August 12th, 2021 amended agenda has been approved. Straight agenda, not amended. Okay, next will be approval of minutes. Any changes to the minutes? None?
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. All in favor of approval, please say yes.
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 Okay.
I was not here.
Let the record show that July 22nd, 2021 meeting minutes have been approved. They'll be recorded as official minutes of that meeting. Okay, on the mayor's report, I'd like to start out by thanking all of our committees and their members for the volunteer hours that they put in during the past fiscal year during some very trying times. I also want to thank Janet Curry for her years of dedicated service for our town as the head of our HR department. I'll now yield the floor to the vice mayor for the committee reports.
What was it, a couple of months ago, we decided that we'd like to hear from, have an update from our committees just to find out what's going on, what their goals are for the next year. So do we have 3 tonight? 4 tonight, 3? So the first one is Rita Holliday. She's our chairman for the Municipal Planning Commission. Thank you, Rita, for being here.
I'm on the other end of this microphone. I'm going to try to be within the allotted amount of time I was given. Unlike Peyton Manning Sunday night, I will stay within my allotted time. But I wanted to start out with March of 2020, which is a little bit past where we're actually talking about tonight. But in March, Governor Lee signed an executive order to make appropriate measures to protect the health and safety of citizens and government officials. Prior to that, a lot of us on the Planning Commission had never heard of WebEx. But thanks to the patience and persistence of a lot of the town staff, each month they got us online and were able to keep us there with both the audio and the video the whole meeting. I want to give a special thanks to Trevor Hobbs for going above and beyond his job description to help some of us become more tech-friendly through all this process of a year. Every month he had to start all over with me. But I want to give special thanks to Trevor and all the town staff that helped us get through all of that. The state gives the town its authority for planning and zoning, and this includes having a planning commission. And the planning commission's authority and responsibilities come from the state and the town's zoning ordinances. The past 12 months have been busy for the planning staff and busy for the commission. 6 pieces of property were rezoned, 3 concept plans, 4 preliminary plats, 4 final plats, and 8 site plans were approved last year. And while these actions were on projects that are currently happening, planning is always looking ahead. That's what planning is, looking ahead. And meeting the future needs of the town of Farragut we're looking ahead. Also, there's ongoing updates of existing policies and procedures. The staff brings these updates to the Planning Commission, and as needed, they're reviewed, and we discuss these, and then we vote on this. But the staff at the same time also has, they're in the process of reviewing predetermined schedule of items, of policies and procedures. So there's 2 things that they have ongoing besides everything else for review of our policies and procedures. Excuse me. This year we had several major updates, but 2 of them in particular that were major projects was a major road plan was updated and a complete update of the sign ordinance. And this involved both the town staff, members of the Planning Commission, members of the community, and members of the community who were involved with signs. So those are just 2 of the several projects this year that were updated. And like I said, it's ongoing with lots of policies and procedures and predetermined dates. Several of these, every 10 years, even every 20 years, we're updating these policies and procedures that the town has for planning. And as we go through all of this, it's the town, the planning staff, and the planning commissioner's goal every year to ensure a high-quality built environment through deliberate formal planning. That's something that we're all very focused on as we go about both the planning staff and the planning commission. We're very focused on providing the best for the future of the town of Farragut. So, I think that's all that I have.
Thank you, Rita. I appreciate it. We
appreciate the planning staff. They do a tremendous job, and they keep us very well informed and give us excellent information for helping make our decisions. So, thank them very much.
Agreed.
Thank you,
Thank
Rita.
you, Rita.
Rita has served our planning commission for many years. I lost count, but we need that history because it helps with us as we stay grounded in who we were when we were founded. We also have to be able to evolve, and it helps to understand that we're staying true to our founding principles. We are a high-quality residential community, and we want to maintain this. The quality of life is important. We cannot require people not to develop their properties, so we pay close attention to our comprehensive land use plan and use it to guide us in the decisions that we make. Private property owners have constitutional protected property rights, and it is our duty to follow the procedures we have in place to make sure that they have a fair hearing and an equitable process to approach anything that they're trying to accomplish. So thank you, Rita, for your time to our community. It's very important. The next one we're going to hear from is Judge Alley for the Board of Zoning and Appeals.
Good evening.
Keith Alley again. I serve as the chair of the Board of Zoning Appeals, or BZA as we call it for the town. The BZA is a board that's required by the state of Tennessee because the town has zoning ordinances. Currently, we have 4 members, but I understand we have another member coming on board sometime soon. Meetings are held only as needed, but typically occur on the 4th Wednesday of the month. During the past fiscal year, we had 4 BZA meetings. In July and August 2020, we dealt with an administrative interpretation, a special exception, and a variance request associated with unapproved work completed on a commercial project. In 2021, the board met in February to review a variance request related to a sidewalk section omission along a portion of Admiral Road and an administrative interpretation as to whether a dog behavioralist business would be considered a professional service. In July, the board reviewed an administrative interpretation related to staff's denial of a site plan for a covered structure built without a permit in a building setback area. In addition to being the appellate body for zoning-related matters, the board is also the appellate body for the sign ordinance and the sinkhole ordinance. The board is strictly bound by the parameters given to it through the state of Tennessee, and we try and make all of our decisions in accord with state law and our ordinances. Board members are required to complete 4 hours of qualifying training per year, and we try and do that and stay abreast of current law and developments. We appreciate everything the Board of Mayor and Aldermen does, and it's our pleasure to serve the town.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. And just to add a little bit, you guys, I've sat through your meetings. You have to dig into the zoning ordinance oftentimes and read and rule on that. It's not an emotional thing. It's like, you have to read that and parse that and figure out what those words mean. And I appreciate that because it takes attention to detail. So I appreciate your service.
Thank
We have
you.
an excellent chair.
Oh.
He keeps us in line for sure.
You're very kind. Thank you. Have a good
Thank
evening.
you, thank you for what you're doing.
And the last one we're going to hear from is for our visual, I always get this wrong, Visual Resources Review Board. And Marty Lehman is the chair for that.
Good evening. Thank you, everyone. Ms. Holliday did a good job of expressing what I wanted to say too, and that's a gratitude to all of our town staff members for what they did for us last year. We were able to make meetings, and that was an important part of accomplishing something for the town, so I did want to express that gratitude as well. As you just said, we are the Visual Resources Review Board. It is a mouthful, but we have the responsibility for reviewing and approving ground-mounted sign applications, and that includes new ground mounting signs or existed ground mounting signs that require refacing or any other modification, as well as multi-tenant signs and of course the panels that are on those. We also review and approve required landscaping plans. We provide input for proposed amendments to regulations like the sign ordinance updates that have recently occurred and the landscape requirements. And then we provide input on other public space aesthetics when requested. We meet on the 4th Tuesday of each month. Last year, we were able to hold 11 regularly scheduled meetings, which is normal as the November meeting was canceled and rolled into the December meeting. So we were able to make all of our meetings virtual for the most part, but were able to do it. We had 26 ground-mounted sign applications last year. 11 of those were the multi-tenant panel replacements. And we had 6 landscaping plans. We had 2 administrative requests for input on wall signs from staff. This year, we hope we can continue our regular meetings and hopefully all in person, just as we are tonight. But we are wanting to provide input and work with staff this year on the street tree listing for plantings along roadways and possible amendments to landscape requirements. The landscape requirements haven't been amended in some time, so we would like to explore that with town staff. And so that's us.
Thank you, Marty. I appreciate your time. I'm excited to see about the street tree listings. I know that's something that we've been working on. How are we going to get some more, now that we've widened out our grass strip, trying to put some street trees in there, making our streets as attractive as they are safe. So, and you guys do important work, and sometimes it can be very tedious.
Yes.
Because you've got to pull it apart and take a look at it and say, okay, sometimes looking at something on a sheet is a lot different than what it it comes out to look like. And so I appreciate you guys and the time you take to make sure that we're following and making sure that Farragut stays a beautiful place.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And that's it for our committees, correct? Okay.
Okay. Any other aldermen have anything to report? None? Okay. Well, tonight we have 2 ordinances to review with public hearing, and both will be on first reading. We'll start off with ordinance 2114, ordinance to amend the Farragut zoning map for lots 1 through 3 as shown on the preliminary plat for a portion of the Kinney property subdivision located on 12422 Union Road. It's 15.5 acres, to change the zoning from R2, which is single-family residential, to R1, that's rural residential. And I believe Urban Engineering, Inc. is the applicant.
Yes, Bart Hose has the staff.
Oh, Bart, want to read? Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
I'm going to, this is basically a request to rezone a portion of a small subdivision that's being developed off Union Road, the eastern portion of Union Road between Everett and Smith Road. The applicant is here, and what they're doing is they're requesting that 3 lots within a 6-lot subdivision be rezoned from R2 down to R1. R2 is our general single-family residential district. R1 is our rural residential district. This is a largely rural character subdivision. Most of the lots are large. There's one smaller lot in there, but the 3 lots that are being proposed for rezoning range in size from approximately 4.5 acres to 6.5 acres. The primary driver of the request is 3 of those property owners would like the option of being able to have animals in the future, farm animals. And the R1 zoning district does allow for agricultural uses as long as the lots are over 1 acre, and it allows a wider range of agricultural uses than the R2 district does, and on smaller pieces of property. So that's really what's driving the request. It's in character with the area. Again, the subdivision is being done on more of a rural character. It's got a rural cross-section street being developed in it. The surrounding area is a mix of R1 and R2 properties now. So from a staff perspective, we think it's consistent with the surrounding area. It's consistent with the land use plan as well. It's been reviewed by the Planning Commission at their last meeting, and it was recommended for approval to the board. So from a staff standpoint, we can recommend it as well. So.
Okay, any questions or comments from our Farragut residents?
Do we want to make a motion first? Move to approve?
I'll second.
No, there are no comments.
No comments? Okay. Then, Mr. Kenny, you want to step up, please? And we'll start out with any discussion, and we'll start out with Alderman Meyer.
So the only question I have is I'm trying to connect the dots between R2 and the movement to R1, and the R1 giving the ability to have rural character,
Yes.
because I thought we kind of already have rural character. But can't you have rural character with R2?
Well, you can't have any farm,
Chickens.
farm animals or anything with R2.
Right.
So,
So the motivation is just to have livestock of some kind?
correct.
Okay.
And the lots are, like they're 4 to 5, 4 to 6 acres. So,
Right now, it's
Yes.
R2 for maybe a reason, I don't know. I mean, they're
Probably rezoned from,
well, I think the original owner that I had bought the farm from, I think he looked at future development and had it zoned R2 to get more density. So we're actually,
gotcha.
so we're actually backing up the density. So you can't.
So the
we-
R2 wasn't necessarily a preventive measure against livestock in the
No.
center of the town?
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay, Alderman Burnett,
No comments.
Alderman Pinchot,
I have none.
Vice Mayor Povlin.
and I'll just add on to Alderman Meyer's question. If you look at here, these are R1, I believe these are R1, and they're all large lots. So it would be permitted.
They can have livestock too.
Yes.
Everybody around them.
So it's consistent with what's already existing there. So I don't have any other comments.
Okay. I have none as well. With a motion and a second on the floor that's been properly discussed, I'll ask the town recorder to take a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Yes.
Alderman Povlin.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 21-14 has been approved on the first reading.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Keeney.
Okay, next will be ordinance 21-15. It's an ordinance to amend the State Street Aid and Equipment Fund for the fiscal year 2022 budget, which was passed by ordinance 21-13.
Yes, sir. The two sections we're going to look at tonight are the State Street Aid and the Equipment Fund. The State Street Aid, this is what we've been doing the past few years, just so we can have a better bids for resurfacing contract, a more flexible, longer construction season. Due to that change, the resurfacing of the town's streets typically spans multiple fiscal years. The resurfacing balance from fiscal year 21 was $856,000, and the resurfacing budget for FY22 will be amended from $800,000 to $1.6 million, an increase of $856,000. The remaining invoices from the previous year's contract will be paid in the current fiscal year, so the balance will be transferred from fiscal year 21 to 22. The next one is the Equipment Fund, and it will be increased from $183,500 to $219,500. This is the addition of truck number 19, the replacement of it. It was originally scheduled for FY23, but due to maintenance issues and the long wait time that we're seeing for receiving new trucks, it'll be purchased in fiscal year 22. So the motion is to approve ordinance 2115 on first reading.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, any discussion from, or questions
Yes,
from
sir.
residents? None? Okay. Okay, we'll go with discussion. Alderman Pinchuk?
I've got a question about the equipment fund, the truck number 19. So we're putting the money in there so that he can move forward with it.
We're taking it from being purchased in 23 to being purchased in 22 instead, because he's looking at about an 8 to 10 month wait time on a lot of trucks. And right now, as of last week, the state had not even gotten their contracts for new trucks. They've not received any bids yet. They've not gone through that process yet, so they've not put that out for our information.
So we feel pretty comfortable that 36,000 should cover the cost of what he's looking for.
We're hoping.
Got it. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Alderman Burnett?
I'll pass.
Pass. Vice Mayor Povlin?
I have nothing.
Alderman Meyer? Okay, I have nothing as well. With a motion second on the floor with proper discussion, I will ask the town recorder to please take a roll call vote.
Alderman Meyer.
Yes.
Alderman Pinchuk.
Yes.
Alderman Povlin.
Yes.
Alderman Burnett.
Yes.
Mayor Williams.
Mayor Williams, yes. Let the record show that ordinance 21-15 has been approved on the first reading. Okay, tonight we have 3 business items on our agenda. And we'll start out with approval appointment to the Farragut Board Zoning Appeals.
So there's currently a vacancy on the Board of Zoning Appeals, and Jeffrey Devlin has applied for that position. And the motion is to appoint Jeffrey Devlin to the Farragut Board of Zoning Appeals.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Do we have any questions or comments from Farragut residents?
No, sir.
None? Okay. Mr. Devlin, would you like to step up to the mic, please?
Evening, everybody. Sorry, I jammed my knee up, so it took me a little while.
Well, that won't hurt your performance on the BZA.
No, it
so-
won't, that's right. Mind my job a little bit, but yeah.
Let's see, do you have any questions for us? We'll start off with that.
No, I don't actually. I'm glad I got to actually be here for the report for BZA, though, so I'm just looking forward to digging into it. And Parks and Athletics is going to be really busy, too, but that's great, so I'm looking forward to it.
Great. Okay, we'll start with the discussion. Vice Mayor Povlin,
I have nothing.
nothing. Alderman Pinchuk?
I think you're a good candidate for it, so I'm glad you stepped up, so I appreciate it. I have no questions.
Alderman Burnett?
Yep, glad to see you on here as well.
Alderman Meyer? Yeah,
Thanks.
I echo that. It's great to have you on board. Okay, with proper discussion and motion on the floor that's been seconded, all in favor of the motion, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, let the record show that appointment has been approved.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you for your willingness to serve.
Okay, next will be approval of request to locate a permanent subdivision sign on the public right-of-way of the preserve at Turkey Creek subdivision as provided for the town's sign ordinance. Farragut Municipal Code, Chapter 109-12, Part B, 1B. That would be Painted Turtle Lane, right-of-way area located off Turkey Creek Road.
Okay, this is a request to locate a permanent subdivision sign on a public right-of-way. It is connected to the on the preserve at Turkey Creek subdivision that has recently been developed in the town, if you're all familiar with it. What they're requesting to do is to actually put the sign in the right-of-way of the new entrance road, which is Painted Turtle Lane, into the subdivision. Typically, we require those signs to be put either on an HOA lot or on an easement on an individual property owner's lot. In this case, they're dealing with some fairly restricted space, and then there is a provision in the sign ordinance that does allow for signs to be located on the right-of-way. That's a fairly new change to the sign ordinance. There have been some other requests, particularly like on Brookmere subdivision, where a sign was located in the right-of-way, but there's no set process. So when the sign ordinance was updated, that was added into it. And the process is sort of a three-step process. The sign has to be part of a streetscaping plan. It has to be reviewed by the Planning Commission, and the Planning Commission has to make a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It has to be reviewed by the Visual Resources Review Board, and they have to make a recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. And then ultimately, y'all have to decide to allow it to go in the right-of-way because it's a public right-of-way. So that's what they're asking for tonight. They did submit a letter with their justifications for it. Again, it's a fairly tight spot that they're looking to do this in. In this case, it does seem reasonable given everything going on at the entrance there. There's a large sewer easement behind that keeps them from pushing back onto the HOA property, and the property also drops off down to the creek area. And then on the other side of the road there is a greenway connection and also a driveway connection into an adjoining property owner. So, they didn't have a lot of opportunities to locate that sign. As I said, it's been reviewed by the Planning Commission and the VRRB, and both of them have recommended in favor of the location. In both cases, and also in staff's recommendation, we can recommend it, but subject to a few things. The first would be just making sure that there's no conflict with any of the proposed or existing utility lines. We don't want to put a sign over any existing or planned utilities. The applicant should be required to provide an as-built survey as to exactly where the sign gets set, so we have that well documented and we know. And also, we think that it would be appropriate for the town to require the establishment of a maintenance and liability agreement between the developers / HOA, the homeowner association that'll ultimately take it over, and the town, to make sure that the town's is not going to incur any responsibility for maintaining it if it were to be hit, for repairing it or anything like that. And that agreement should be basically developed in concert with the town attorney and approved by the town attorney. And the town attorney, I think, is aware of that and has been working on it a bit. So, if y'all have any questions.
Do we have verification all three of those subject twos have been?
Not yet. The The as-built survey would come after it was built. They should have to verify that there's no utility lines before they begin construction. We did look at the preliminary subdivision plat, to see if there were any lines planned for that area. There weren't, but we want to make sure that none, were put in as part of a change. As I said, I think they're in the process of working towards developing the maintenance agreement.
So should we
But-
make it clear that the motion includes the subject tos?
Yes.
So, okay.
Absolutely.
I'm going to move to approve with the subject tos, the three subject tos.
I'll second that.
Okay.
I'm Thomas Krajewski. I work with Saddlebrook Properties, 1319 Southgate.
Sorry, I missed your, what's the last name?
Krajewski.
Okay, Thomas, I'll start off. Have you got any issues with the subject twos?
We do not, no. Our site constraints, as mentioned, kind of forced us to try to position the sign in this location, and our CCNRs already call for the HOA or future owners of the property to maintain any entrance feature, and so the maintenance agreement is certainly not a problem, and we do not have any utilities in that area.
Okay. How are you on getting your grass growing?
Our grass is coming right along. Summer storms have helped sprout it up,
Okay, great.
although we have already graded a little bit to get some landscaping in there.
Okay, great. Alderman Meyer?
Pass.
Alderman Pinchot?
Pass.
Alderman Burnett?
Thanks for a thorough presentation. Pass.
Okay. Okay, all in favor of the motion, say yes.
Yes.
Record show the request has been approved.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And next will be the approval of change order number 1, contract 2021-05, resurfacing of various streets.
You'll recall back in April, awarding this year's resurfacing contract to Duracap Asphalt. Now, at that time, their bid was well below our budget, so staff had recommended adding a couple of other streets that are in Glen Abbey subdivision. I believe those were Port St. Charles and San Martin Lane. So what was awarded at that time was a contract with an estimated cost of $752,000 and change. With a little more consideration, staff would now recommend adding English Station Road, Fincastle Lane, and Kimball Lane to those. All three of those, they're fairly short streets. You can see on the map. They are in Glen Abbey as well. That would increase our estimated cost by $53,063 for a total estimate of $805,224.85. So with that being said, staff would recommend approval of change order 1 as presented with an estimated cost of $53,063.
Move to approve.
Second.
Okay. Discussion, Alderman Meyer?
I think it's a good idea, since they're already in there, and so, no questions.
Alderman Burnett?
I'll pass.
Alderman Pinchot?
Pass.
Vice Mayor Pavlin?
I'll agree with Alderman Meyer's statement. So let me ask you this, Darrell. We resurface these. How long does a typical neighborhood resurfacing last for? 25 years?
We would like to think 20 to 25 years, but different forces come into play. Lack of grade sometimes can cause a street to not last as long if it's a fairly flat street. These have lasted pretty well. I think Glen Abbey was developed, around 93, 95 timeframe. So they've done pretty well.
And I'm happy to see this. I know that it's an inconvenience anyway, so we may as well get it all done and get it out of the way, check that box, and they can move along with their day.
The Band-Aid off, yes.
Yes. So
Okay.
thank you. That's all I had.
Okay, I agree. It's, anytime we can add a small amount of money to a big contract, it's a good deal. So all in favor of the motion, please say yes.
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 Okay, let the record show that the change order number 1 has been approved. as requested. Next will be the town administrator's report. Now yield the floor to the town administrator for his report.
Thank you, Mayor. We have several things going on over the next couple of weeks that just want to get the board and the public's attention. One is this Saturday. We've got Fun with Farragut's Fleet at Mayor Bob Leonard Park. We've got from, I think, 8 a.m. to noon that day. Kids come out and get a chance to run and jump and play and check out all sorts of heavy equipment. So it's usually a pretty fun time for youngsters. Also this weekend, the big event, Dog Days at the Village Green Shopping Center. It's going to be Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday. So come on out and watch the pooches plunge. And I know we'll have a certain alderman that's going to have her dog in the event. So we can't wait to see how that performs.
Not me, Jay's doing it. I get to laugh.
A couple other things. We've got Intro to Farragut is starting off and kicking off. We're not able to do it last year due to COVID, but this year we have got a great class, over 20 participants this year, and that'll be kicking off on Wednesday night. So hopefully the board members can make it to meet and greet the new class. Also, the Lawn Chair Concert Series starts Saturday, August 21st. Again, we weren't able to do that last year, but Shandy Dixon and her crew are out working hard and using Founders Park for that. So that'll be Saturday, the 21st at 5 o'clock out Founders Park. And finally, Trevor Hobbs has been working on something very diligently for us, getting some business startup classes for those in the community that are interested in opening up a new business or a small business here in the community. He's been partnering with the Knoxville Small Business Development Center and the Chamber of Commerce. We'll be doing those classes. They'll be free. They'll be at the community center. First class is Wednesday, September 1st from 10 to 11 o'clock in the morning. And we'll have more information on our website about future classes, but there'll be one a month from September through December. So thank you, Trevor, for doing that. Appreciate it. And if anybody has any questions, they can contact Trevor at Town Hall. That's all I have to report.
Okay. The time is approximately 6:37 p.m. Without objection, the August 12th, 2021 Farragut Board Mayor and Alderman meeting is now adjourned.